Hello everyone, I'm DonTheCrown, and today I want to talk about the surprise stream that KR just got with a whole bunch of information about their upcoming update. If you don't know, sometimes they'll put on these streams where some of the devs will come and talk about what's coming down the path for the Korean servers, and we got a really cool insights to new continents that are coming out, new power systems like the Elixir system here, new Guardian raids, and some really exciting stuff like the fact that they're literally getting rid of boss rush and cubes and smooshing them together into one awesome thing. Somebody was nice enough to go and do a lot of translation from Saintone's stream and kind of put down some bullet points here. So we're going to go through these really quick. First off, there's a new continent called Voldis, or as I'm sure people will be calling it, Voldes. There's also official Korean patch notes which have been translated. And so this is like the continent of wise men and alchemists, and this is kind of a storyline that you can access once you reach 1520. And it sounds like it has a new city and a whole bunch of cool new stuff. There just seems to be a lot of things that they've added in with this particular update. It does come with a new Abyss dungeon that has 4 different gates, and they showed 3 out of the 4 boss gates, and it seems like the last one might be like story spoilers, like maybe it's Carmine fight, or we fight like somebody else. But that sounds pretty cool. Having a new Abyss dungeon is definitely a good thing to add. Now they also added the alchemy and elixir system. You get materials from the weekly raid that you can put onto stats on your left side armor pieces, so like your hat and shoulders and chest and stuff. And this costs gold rather than silver to facet. Now certain armor slots can get certain stats, and some of these stats are obviously better than others, and this is kind of like basically like a bracelet again on the left hand side, but it seems like there's also like stat sets. So if all of the stats are part of a set, you get extra bonus effect. And so elixir is also kind of like an uncut ability stone. You can kind of see here that there is like a whole bunch of stuff on the right hand side that they're kind of unlocking, and these guys, you have a chance to progress through them, and overall it seems kind of complicated and honestly seems somewhat pay to winny. This like special material here that you can get, I believe, is tradable in the auction house. I'm not sure if these things on the side are also tradable in the auction house, but they seem to have different rarities as well. And overall, first glance, I'm not a really big fan of this system. Right now in Lost Ark, there's a lot of ways to gain power. We kind of went over things in the stream here about like cost to RNG reliance, and things like quality, for example, have like a lot of RNG in there to get high percentage, and also costs a whole bunch, and it kind of seems like elixir is going to be way up there as well. It's kind of like, imagine an ability stone that requires you to spend 280 gold per tap as opposed to silver. Yeah. While it sounds kind of cool from like a adding to new power system, I'm not a big fan of the RNG nature of it, so we'll see how that goes. Overall though, like, definitely something that's going to be new. We'll see how people like it. Another big change is that you can do all the content on your character that you want. You're not limited anymore to only doing 3 Legion raids. So you can do all of the Legion raids you want. However, you will only be able to earn gold from 3 of those. So it'll be like Brel, Clown, Vicus, or Volton, whichever one you pick is the ones you get gold from. However, you can only buy the bonus loot from content that is considered to be end content. So if your character is like Brel hard ready, you're probably not going to be able to buy the bonus box from Volton. Not that you really should be, but yeah. Also, you can buy the bonus loot for characters from up to 3 raids, and so that means that there's only ever going to be 3 raids that are in that range. It's not really clear what the range is going to be, but it'll be on the UI. Now, for the 7th character and onwards, so all of your non-gold earners, you get the bonus loot for free from the extra from their end content. So if your character that's like been chilling at 1445, now you can run Volton hard and get the box at the end for free every single time. So that's pretty good. That's more loot to sell. Although this kind of does encourage people to get wider with their roster and to run more content. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of that. And combined with the fact that you can run all of the content now, I feel like this is only going to lean towards more people busing and more people like riding buses, which I'm also not a huge fan of the busing culture. Next up, all cube and boss rush contents in the game are being completely removed. They're adding a new thing that is basically a combined system here. So let me scroll down. It's called the Ebony Cube. And so this basically content that integrates existing boss rush and cube together. And so there's a little bit of RNG factor in terms of like how good or bad the fights are going to be, or good or bad the rewards are going to be. And there is a 1302 and higher, 1490, 1540, 1580, 1610. Probably when we get this system, we might get it earlier than what KR is getting. And so I would think that unless the raid that is associated with a gear score is released, that we won't be seeing that content. So like, for example, if this dropped with Hard Brel for some reason, we definitely wouldn't get the Super Cube at 1610 because Hard Brel doesn't go that high. But overall, I think this is pretty awesome. You'll be able to take your old Boss Rush and Cube tickets and trade them in for alternative goods and items. And yeah, I think that's really, really good. One of the things I always kind of find myself doing at the end of the week is being like, oh no, I got to do my weeklies. I got to do my like 2 boss rushes. Sometimes I throw in a cube there as well. And so combining those two and eliminating some of the stuff, I think is pretty good, especially if these rewards are going to be better and if it's going to be more fun content. One of my biggest gripes is that there's just not enough stuff for you to actually do on your main. And so if this is actually fun and challenging and isn't just like a one-shot the boss type of thing, that would be a really, really good thing, I think, for the game overall. Next up, they are adding the big frog boss. Here it's called Gargadus, but here they're calling it Gargalon. So this is going to be really interesting names, I guess. And this is just the new Guardian. I think he's like a lightning-based frog type of thing. And he's like some sort of divine object above his head. And he makes swift attacks with his long tongue. So I'm feeling this guy is going to be a real pain in the butt. And you have to be 1610 to take on fighting this guy. There is also a new Chaos Dungeon at 1610 that doesn't have any sort of new rewards or materials beside what people already have in KR up to this point, and you get this once you've completed Voldis. And really, that's what we know. The Voldike continent or Voldis continent will come out on February the 15th, and then on the February the 22nd, various contents will be updated, including the new Abyss Dungeon and probably the combined Cube Boss Rush. So it's pretty exciting. I'm definitely excited for the combined Cube Boss Rush. The new Guardian raids seem pretty neat, and we'll have to see how the Elixir system shakes out. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and come by the stream.